the feints, the foot movement, the way he lands shots. He fights like a boxer. He doesn't fight like a guy who's trying to box in a celebrity boxing match.
Let that sink in.
Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis is so crazy. 135 versus 200.
That is, if I'm not mistaken, a 92-pound weight difference. Almost a 100-pound weight difference. It's insane. Let's say he comes in at 200 pounds. It's still a 65-pound weight advantage, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Joe Rogan has once again stirred the combat sports world with his bold prediction ahead of the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis showdown. The veteran UFC commentator didn't hold back, claiming that Jake Paul's massive size and weight advantage could potentially end Tank's career if the two actually step into the ring. Rogan emphasized that while Gervonta is undeniably one of the most explosive and dangerous punchers in boxing today, the physical gap between them is simply too great. In his view, Davis is too small to withstand Jake's power, reach, and raw strength, making the matchup a serious risk rather than a fair fight.
My opinion is, I just want to say, in case someone calls me into court, I'm an idiot and I don't know nothing. And don't take my advice.
I love the Saudis.
Don't take my opinion.
I love the Israeli government. I love everybody.
That had nothing to do with them. That was Jake Paul promoting it. You know, it's just doesn't bother me.
There's compromise in the sport, and that's like bad. It's just like
if I bet on it,
watching it with people who are so in on it, and then also man, the sports betting apps, they introduced like chat apps in them in Australia. So it's like they're trying to take the place of social media companies where you go together and you meet your friends. Like betting should be exciting enough without having a weird.
They're just trying to draw you in. They're just trying to make money, right? So they're trying to draw you in.
Rogan acknowledged that Jake Paul has legitimately evolved as a fighter, noting that if Paul didn't come from a YouTube background, his progress would be considered remarkable by boxing standards. Rogan praised Jake's ring IQ, composure, and technical improvement, emphasizing that he's far from the internet brawler people once mocked. However, Rogan also issued a serious warning about the potential dangers of facing Gervonta Davis. He stressed that Davis operates on a completely different level when it comes to skill, timing, and devastating knockout power. According to Rogan, if Jake underestimates Tank or treats this as a spectacle rather than a real fight, the outcome could be disastrous for him.
What do you think of this Jake Paul fella?
I always say that if Jake Paul was not a YouTube star, people just looked at him like an up-and-coming boxer, you would say this kid's got a lot of fucking talent. He's dangerous. I think his strength is that they underestimate him because of what his background was. And they think there's no way that some guy who became famous off of YouTube is going to be an actual legit boxer. If you look at what he's done, he's a very good boxer.
Jake Paul didn't hold back when he boldly declared, "I would destroy him in the ring, given the size." While he coupled that statement with a nod of respect for Gervonta Davis's skill, discipline, and patriotism, the remark instantly set off a wave of backlash. Critics argue that such bravado undermines the credibility of the matchup, turning it from a sporting contest into a publicity stunt. With Paul weighing close to 200 pounds as a cruiserweight and Davis fighting around 135 pounds, many see the bout as a dangerous mismatch rather than an even playing field. A case of reckless showmanship disguised as competition.
I'll be down. Let's run it. I'll be super, super down.
I don't know if Gervonta needs Jake Paul. Let's be clear, right?
Is there a height limit in boxing?
For Tank, there's no way that this goes well for Tank Davis, because if he wins, they go, oh yeah, world champion. Of course you were supposed to beat that YouTuber. If he struggles but wins, they go, ooh, Tank is washed. He struggled against Jake Paul. He still won, but he had a hard time. And then, of course, if he loses to Jake Paul, and him and boxing lose their credit.
Rogan's commentary emerged just as fresh details about the event were confirmed. The fight, now officially set for November 14th, 2025 at the Cassaya Center in Miami, will be a 10-round exhibition, streamed globally on Netflix. According to reports, the catch weight is set at 195 pounds, marking a dramatic jump from Gervonta Davis's usual 135-pound lightweight division and aligning closer to Jake Paul's natural cruiserweight range. This massive weight gap only fuels ongoing debates about fairness, safety, and the legitimacy of the matchup.
My point still stands where it stands. Jake Paul wins this fight. I already bet Gervonta Davis in the DMs. We locked the bet. Guys, it's obvious Jake wins this fight. If you guys know anything about fighting, you know about weight classes. You know that Jake's been training for actual years. He's been locked in.
Oh my days. Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. Is this real? This can't be real. Because he was talking about fighting Joshua, which is heavyweight. And now he's saying about fighting Tank. Nah, this can't be. It's Netflix as well. I need to go and do some checks and see if like the main pages have posted this. But Jake Paul's posted it. It says Friday, November 14th. It's in Atlanta, State Farm Arena. This is random, though.
Beyond Rogan, several boxing professionals and analysts have voiced their opinions on the matchup, and their perspectives reflect a blend of concern, caution, and outright skepticism regarding the fight's legitimacy and safety. Many argue that while the event promises massive commercial appeal, the extreme weight difference between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis undermines the essence of fair competition. Some see it as a dangerous experiment that risks injury and damages boxing's credibility, while others reluctantly acknowledge it as a marketing masterstroke designed to draw global attention rather than advance sporting merit.
Oh, Jake Paul is fighting Gervonta Tank Davis. Chilaquiles.
Musty energy. Musty energy. Musty energy.
Oh, it's musty, and I say that respectfully. Per Mike Hoppinger in the Ring magazine, Gervonta Tank Davis, freshly off his domestic violence charges being dropped, will get into the ring with Jake Paul in Atlanta with a proposed date of November 15th. Lord child. Get your hand out of my pocket! Tank weighs about 135. Jake Paul weighs about 200-something pounds. So obviously this will be at a catch weight, and this possibly will not be a sanctioned fight where it will count on anybody's records. But I'm going to tell y'all like this. Tank fans, you niggas down bad. The hatred.
Musty energy.
You niggas is down bad. Tank basically on the back half of his career, according to my brother Nestor Gibbs from the Boxing Voice. This man, Gervonta Tank Davis, said, I am not fighting no Shakur Stevenson. The man said, I'm not even going to rematch Lamont Sanat. The man just said, I'm not even thinking about fighting Dev Dollars, Devin the Dream, Debo Haney. I am going directly into Jake Paul. I've been told you that Tank was the black Jake Paul. Tank been the black Jake Paul. Man ain't care about legacy. Man ain't care about none of that, bro. Tank fans, you niggas down bad. Protect your fighter. It is musty at the highest level. And poor Lamont Sanat, it might be over for Lamont Sanat. He got to fight somebody. You might need to fight Gary Russell Jr. right now. Tank Davis, Lord Child, Jake Paul, boxing down bad. This about to make a lot of money. The only plus in this is that Alicia Baumgardner, aka Bomb-Ammy, might be on this card. I would love to see Alicia Baumgardner back on Netflix. That is a plus, and my man Lucas Body might get on there as well, and Avius Griffin. So it might be a movie as far as the undercard. Tank Davis, you down bad, bro. Boxing is absolutely disgusting and musty at the highest level. Get it together. Tank is a 30-plus-year-old prospect at the back end of his career. He on his Mayweather McGregor at the age of 30. Lord child.
The head trainer for Davis, Calvin Ford, acknowledged that the fight carries real risk due to the logistical challenges and massive size gap, but remained firm in his commitment, stating, "We signed the contract. We're going to make it do what it do." Rather than dwelling on the weight difference, Ford shifted attention to glove-size negotiations, a crucial factor in the matchup. He noted that Davis typically fights using 8-ounce gloves and proposed that to even things out, Paul could wear 10-ounce gloves while Davis sticks to 8-ounce. A subtle yet potentially significant adjustment to balance the scales in a fight where every ounce could matter.
My only concern is, the gloves. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't fight in 12-ounce gloves. We don't use 12-ounce gloves. That's training gloves, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's 2 pounds away from Jake. He fights in 10s. Tank fighting 8s. So he losing 4 ounces. So my thing is, I said, they said, put Tank in 8s, put him in 10s. That makes the fight more interesting. You know what I'm saying? And we'll go from there because I understand. And I brought that question up to one of his handlers. They was, no, we don't want to do no mismatch. It's supposed to be expedition.
Why's it matter?
What, you know, now y'all want the wins and the loss. You know what I'm saying? All these prescriptions, but you want to be great. Being great is really pushing the envelope. You know what I'm saying? You know, Tank don't really care, you know. So when I brought this up, he said, dang, facts. You know what I'm saying? So, again, you know, he can wait at 10s and we wait at 8s. Then we got to fight.
Ford revealed that the team had initially been preparing for a rematch with Lamont Roach Jr. But when the opportunity to face Jake Paul arose, they saw it as a blessing they couldn't turn down. While the Roach rematch made sense from a purely competitive standpoint, the Paul fight promised far greater exposure and financial reward. Ford defended the decision, saying Gervonta Davis has earned the right to take such opportunities. Sometimes, a fighter has to walk through the bigger door when it opens, even if it's not the most traditional path. However, the proposed matchup between Jake Paul and Davis quickly faced major regulatory resistance. The Georgia Athletic and Entertainment Commission refused to sanction the bout in Atlanta due to the extreme weight difference between the two men. Commission Chairman Rick Thompson was blunt in his assessment, calling the event the dumbest I've ever heard, and dismissing it as a blatant money grab. When Paul's promoters requested a weight class waiver, the commission rejected it, citing safety concerns over such a clear mismatch. As a result, the fight was ultimately relocated to Miami.
Today, the chairman of the Georgia Athletic and Entertainment Commission, the commission that is going to be voting whether or not to approve Tank Davis and Jake Paul. His name is Rick Thompson. He has some very choice words for Jake and Tank fight. He says it's the dumbest ish he's ever heard. It's a money grabber, and he's not okay with that. And he doesn't like the arrogance of Tank Davis and Jake Paul announcing their fight, marketing their fight, having press conferences and shit before the commission can vote whether or not they're going to approve the fight. He calls it arrogance. Their concerns, obviously, the weight discrepancy between the two. In the state of Georgia, two competitors cannot outweigh each other by more than 9 pounds. Tank and Jake Paul's teams have already submitted a rule waiver request to get that rule waived. And Rick Thompson also said in this article that he is expecting the committee to put it to a vote as to whether or not they're going to approve this fight on September the 18th when they're meeting again. Also, we got some insight that USA Today tried to reach out to other members of the committee, and all of them declined to comment on what's going on. But what I do know is that the Georgia Athletic and Entertainment Commission, it's a 5-person panel that's going to be voting on this Tank Davis, Jake Paul.